Well, welcome, Gonzaga families. We're so excited that you could join us for our Meet the ZagFam event with our Parent and Family Council. I'm Amy Swank, and I'm the Director of Parent Family Relations at Gonzaga University. And I'm just absolutely thrilled to be able to spend some time with you all today and with our lovely council. I'm going to share a little bit about how this is going to work. Our panel will include our folks from our Parent and Family Council, or some of them, not all of them are joining us. They're going to do some introductions to talk a little bit about their own experience. And then we're going to open it up for Q&A. And we'll have you put your questions into the chat, and then my student Anna, who's joined us here, will answer or ask the question to the panel for you. So we'll try to keep it simplified, and because everybody will be on mute. I just want to make note of a few things. Our families are going to talk about their experience pre-COVID-19. So many of them are going to talk about what it means to be a ZAG family. I don't want to ignore the fact that we are living in a different world with COVID-19, but they're probably not as versed. They don't have any answers about the university policy or decisions, but we're waiting just as all of you are. And I will say that in my 13 years at Gonzaga University, I've never seen the administrators, the faculty, the staff, our students who are here work so tirelessly to give our new families and our new students the best possible experience. So I just want to let you know that we are going to pull out all the stops and do the best we can, and we want this to be a great experience for all of you. With that being said, our orientation will be online in 3 parts, and I don't want to give away some of the surprises, but we'll start our online version of some of orientation on August 3rd. If you haven't registered, we're going to put that registration in the chat. So please do that so that you can have this great experience. Then I will mention that all of our parent council that they'll chat with you in a little bit are volunteers to the university. There is an application to apply to be on the parent council. We really look for certain families in certain markets and different areas across our country so that we can, and even internationally. I know we've got some international folks on our panel as well to share some thoughts with you today, but we really are looking for a diverse group of people that will help represent the university in their hometowns, as well as be able to advise the university on making some great decisions for our families and our students. That's all I'll say about those things. So we'll put the application app in there too if you're interested in taking part. I will tell you that our parent council makes up about 20 to 25 families. They are amazing folks that continue to help us to do this work. And I will say my favorite part of my job are, of course, working with our volunteer students, but our parent council as well. And I think you're in for a real treat because they're the best of the best. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it off to Hank and Alice Davis from Denver, Colorado to get us going. Welcome everyone, we're excited to have you.
Thanks, Amy, thanks so much for the introduction. And hey, we want to welcome everyone on the call to the ZAG family. And you're not quite sure what that means yet, but within the next year, you'll find out pretty quickly, I think. It's a really special family, and you'll feel the warmth. I'm sure you felt the warmth, and your student felt the warmth when they visited the school and they decided to go to Gonzaga, but you'll feel it more as the time goes on. And so we all want to welcome you from the Parent Family Council to part of the ZAG family. This session at orientation, this is unusual to do it this way, obviously, for you and for us. I just got goosebumps a minute ago. It always brings us back to the time when we were dropping off our first student to school and what that felt like. It was an anxious time. It was an exciting time. And hopefully some of the stories we tell you, you'll laugh. There might be some crying, but we want to share some good stories that we think might be useful, but also maybe some advice that might be helpful to you guys. The session used to be called Letting Go, because now you're at the beginning of a journey where you need to learn to let go. Some of us need to learn to let go, and I've had to learn to let go a lot over the years, and it took some time. We've now changed the name a couple of years ago to the session to Letting Grow. And if you think about it, it's a similar analogy. Your student is now going to be leaving home and going to school, and they're going to grow in ways that I'm sure you've have thought about, but you might not imagined. And so we'd like to really have the session named in a positive spin, letting grow instead of letting go, I guess. I'm going to hand this off to the Lowe family. We're going to introduce ourselves. I'm going to let Alice talk a little bit about our family quickly. We're going to introduce ourselves, and then we're going to circle back, and we're going to each tell a story.
Hi there, and welcome to the Zag family. We're really excited that you're all here, and we know how you're feeling. We sat in your places 6 years ago. We have 2 graduates. Our most recent graduate is a May 2020 graduate, and our son graduated in 2018. Happy to say that they are thriving, and we couldn't be happier with the 4 years they both had, formative years to help them become adults that they are and contributing to society.
So Lowe's, why don't you take it over and introduce yourselves?
Hello, Zag family. My name is Jeff Lowe, and this is my lovely wife, Hazel. We hail from the San Francisco Bay Area. One of the silver linings about this pandemic is that I'm much taller on Zoom, okay? So I have much higher stature on Zoom. Anyway, we get to have the pleasure of shepherding a Zag, our daughter, Sydney, who's also a recent graduate. The 4 years that she spent up at GU has just been fabulous for her. To grow as a person, as a student, and we'll talk about some stories later, but like Hank said, the community here is incredible, and we welcome you. With that being said, I'm going to pass it on to the Eckert family.
Hi everyone, I'm Mike Eckert, and this is my wife Jamie Eckert.
Hi guys.
We are from Portland, Oregon, a little bit outside Portland, Oregon City, Oregon. And we have a daughter who just graduated her freshman year and is going into her sophomore year. And I just can't say enough about the experience that we had being in your seats where you are right now, listening to the Parent Family Council. Pretty much hit every button and every hot button that we had that we were concerned about and kind of a little bit freaked out about going into her freshman year. And I think one of the biggest things I can say is just, listen to what you're getting from GU and the emails and what these wonderful people have to say, because it's pretty much spot on. And we knew that it was for us as well.
Yeah. And I can tell you from experience, because I felt it when I was in the meeting when I went last year to meet the team that's talking to you right now. The welcoming and the support and just the camaraderie of this school is amazing. It wasn't a sales pitch when we came on. It was actual love and compassion and care for the kids. And so, yeah, I hope you guys grasp onto that.
And with that, we'll hand it off to the Phillips.
Thanks, Mike. Hey, we're the Phillips. We're from Temecula, California. James is our son. He's been a music major with a couple minors thrown in there for good stuff. And we had a very difficult time understanding where we might want to go, or where James might want to go, and let him find his own way. And when he went on campus, it was a story that was really great. He felt totally comfortable. It's been 4 years now. He's actually going to a 5th year. He's actually 3 credits behind graduating, but it's going to help him get into the education program that they have there, a great master's in education. And so that's where he's headed. Between the Parent Family Council you see here, working with Amy's group, the school itself is just a marvelous way for your children to, or your young adults now to really let them grow. And we haven't looked back, and it's really been fantastic, from the parents to the kids to the programs and to the school. And I think we'll chat a little bit later. And Pilar and Javier, if you want to have a chat.
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Javier. Because this is Zach's family, what I would love you to do all is to switch on your cameras if you're visible and presentable. In this way, we can see each other. Otherwise, we see a bunch of family names and, oh, there you go. It's starting to pop up. But it would be good to, yeah, there you go. Go Zachs. So our family, we have a junior who's majoring in biology. And our experience with the family counselor was starting back from her freshman year. We immediately connected with this family. We connected with Amy, with Hank, with everybody around the Zoom. And we basically enjoyed every moment of it. I think it was, for us, a very good experience. We're an international family. We come originally from Spain. And we do have, we didn't know anything about the US and colleges. So the first experience in American colleges was with Gonzaga, and it couldn't be better. And we are very happy to provide you any sort of support, and especially in these times that everything is so weird. But because we're not going to see each other for a while, I think it's nice to see each other like this in multiple faces. And hi, everybody. Go for it.
I'm Pilar, his wife. I think we forgot to say we live in Colorado too, there with Alice and Hank. We live a bit north of Denver in Boulder. And yeah, we are very happy with Gonzaga. As Javier said, we knew nothing about the system here. So we learned as we went, and we couldn't be happier. And more than anything for me, I felt like we found the place for our daughter. It felt good. Welcome.
Now we pass to Hasselmans.
We were muted. Hi, my name's Jack Hanselman. This is my wife, Tina. Where are we from?
We're from Portland, Oregon.
Right in Portland. It's not burning. And what else do we want to talk about?
Oh, well, we have a incoming, she will be a senior at Gonzaga. And we also, maybe many of you, I think, are going to be, you are parents of incoming freshmen, and we're also parents of an incoming freshman. And so we have a lot of those concerns, like, you know, just like you do. So anyhow, our experience at Gonzaga has been absolutely fabulous, and our oldest daughter has just thrived. She has, she's joined a lot of clubs. She's had a lot of fun. She's studied a ton and a ton. She's a triple major. She's doing really well. And at every term, we have just been so impressed with the communication at Gonzaga. And of course, the group that we work with, we've really gotten to know everybody. But even just like we meet people just in our, when we go up on campus, we meet parents, and we just are always come away with just that sense of family, and we just welcome you.
We look forward to hearing your questions, and hopefully we can help.
And now we will shoot it off to the Moonies.
Yep.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. My name is Liz Mooney, and we're from San Diego, California. We have a son who is entering his senior year this year, and it seems like just yesterday we were just dropping him off. And we were so nervous because we didn't really know what was going to happen, but he is having a great time. He's actually there now. He's taking a summer course. He's taking physics right now, and he has lab in class, which is interesting, but he's enjoying it and doing well. And I can only say that I'm really happy and fortunate that we met Amy that first weekend there at the, you know, during the parent conference or whatever you call it, the, you know, welcoming ceremony that we went to. We were instantly brought in, and it was just great. You know, we felt right at home. Amy did a great job at just making everybody feel like we were doing the right thing. Our kids are in good hands, and we left there feeling that we had done the right thing. And now it was up to him to flourish. And I'm really fortunate that, we found Gonzaga, and I don't know, what else do you want to say about?
Well, I'm Doug Mooney, and I can't overemphasize what a huge asset Amy is. So to all the new families, the first thing that I would do is introduce yourself to Amy. She was kind of like a guardian angel to us, because like Liz said, we honestly didn't know much about Gonzaga, but Amy was such a huge ambassador and helped us so much. So if there's anything I want to impress upon everybody, it's the value of Amy in your lives. And I don't know who else to pass this on to. I don't know who's out there.
I will. We're going to all tell a story. Those families who want to tell a story, please do. And if you don't have one to tell, no worries. Just pass it on to the next family. So, all of our kids have had trials and tribulations. So one thing I want to make sure you all know is, like, none of our kids are perfect, and they've all had challenges during those 4 years. And I do want to say both our kids and almost all the kids that you'll meet. They graduated in 4 years, and that's really unusual. And we're very thankful for that, because we don't have any more college payments. So my story was taking Jackson to school. He was our first. I have to admit, I was kind of a helicopter parent and didn't have to manage him academically, probably like most of you don't have to manage your students academically or haven't had to, but I had to manage his activity to make sure, he did things he was supposed to do. And so I had a little bit of a hard time letting go. And anyway, we flew up to Spokane, and he went to the Goob retreat in Montana for 4 or 5 days. And while he left, I went to Seattle and visited some clients and did some business, and then came back on Thursday when he was supposed to come back from this trip. And then right after the trip, orientation was to begin and school was to start. So I got back and got organized and waited for him outside of Crosby, and waited for the buses to come and waited for him to show up. And I waited, and I saw like a Zag wagon there. There's this little Zag wagon where you can buy meals. You'll see it when you go to the school right near DeSmet, right in front of Crosby. And I said, I probably should buy him lunch. I don't know if he has eaten by now, and I'll buy him a little drink. So I was the only parent sitting there waiting for their kid to come back, which I thought was odd, but that was me. And I was sitting on this bench just waiting for him with his lunch. Finally, I saw the buses pull up, and I thought, here he is, he's coming back. And I waited, and I looked out, and I thought I saw him. He was kind of dirty and had like these orange knee-high socks, and was walking with another kid, and I was all excited. I had his lunch for him, and he starts to approach me, and he gets up to me, and I'm like, hey, Jackson, and he goes, yo, and he walks like right by me. And I was devastated. I was like, oh my God, I'm waiting all this time, and I want a little lunch. But at the end of the day, I was happy, because I thought he's made some friends, and we're getting ready to really leave for good and drop him off. So that's my story. I want to pass it on to Jeff. I know Jeff has a good story to tell, and we'll go to the next family after that.
All right. Thanks, Hank. My commentary is designed for those folks dropping off their first student to college. It is a big deal. I know that when Hazel and I dropped Sydney off, we were just like you. We were like you. We had no idea. We didn't have any experience or institutional knowledge of what to do. Sometimes it's sort of counterintuitive, because for the past 17 to 18 years, you as good caring parents have done everything you could to get your student to this placement, emotional, financial support, anything you had to do. And now when you get to this point, it's like, boy, what are we going to do now? Right. And that's the whole thing about letting grow. And and sort of guiding, because it's not, you're not going to abandon your student, basically, you know, because I know, and I got one, you know, I know that mom gene, it's hard to turn off. You know, my 86-year-old mom of Chinese extraction, I talked to her today. In the Bay Area, it's 90 degrees today. The first thing she asked me today was, "Are you wearing a jacket?" Okay, so like, see, you moms, you understand that, right? You know, and so what you need to do is, I want you to take away from this is that Gonzaga is a great place and a great platform for your student to take that next step and that next chapter in their life. You want to say anything? No. Are you sure? Okay, I'll pass it on to someone else who has a story, basically.
We can share, love to. You know, me and my daughter, we have that father-daughter relationship, and I like to think it's even closer than most. Oh, I have to go back real quick. For the new parents that don't understand all the terminology, because it was probably 6 months before I understood this. Let me explain what a helicopter parent is. Because I definitely, once I figured out what it was like, oh man, that was me. But a helicopter parent is someone who comes in and drops in and tries to fix stuff and messes with stuff and then flies back out and then comes back in and then flies back out and comes back in. The idea is to let your kid grow, you know, not even kid, your student, right? It's let your student grow. And when you come in like a helicopter and you're constantly, you know, interjecting in their life and stuff, it's not very beneficial for them. And, but for us, you know, we dropped our daughter off and, you know, I went touring with her to every college. And that's another thing that every one of you should really take a minute and pat yourselves on the back, and your kids and your new students. You are part now of one of the best financial institutions in the world. And it took me a minute for that to hit me. But Gonzaga really is one of the best financial institutions out there. And your student was good enough to get into that kind of a school. And that is absolutely amazing. And you really need to make sure that you're crediting them and yourselves for everything that it took to get to where you're at now. But dropping her off that day, I'll let my wife talk more about that, because you know, I don't want to admit that I was crying and stuff, but she's okay with it. But I'll talk about maybe a month after that when she's done.
Yeah, so I'm Jamie, by the way. When we dropped her off, I cried for 2 days, and I couldn't. I knew that she was going to be okay. I knew that she was in a good place, but I sat in my chair in the den and I cried for 2 days. And when we dropped her off, I don't like to say drop off. We set her to her new place. We were asked to not call and to let them call us. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to call my daughter and just talk to her because I love her so much. And but we heard from her. She is really close with her dad, and she called her dad and she was fine. She was doing really well. And I had to go through that process of, yep, she's moving on. And so for me, it was a growing experience too. So our kids are growing, we're growing, everybody's growing.
And I will also make a quick note that she called several times during the first month, and like James said, she was fine. She was always fine. Well, about a month later, I'm just preparing you for what might possibly happen with you. We found out that she was just trying to prove to us that she was doing well. But the homesickness was setting in, and I got that call about a month after she was, and you know, she was crying, and then I started crying and stuff, and really just, that's when it really hit me that this is really a support role that we're playing now. This isn't telling her how she should be or trying to, you know, guide her everyday steps. This is just being there to support and love her, whatever she's going through. So, the Gonzaga team has been incredibly wonderful in helping helping us realize that and helping us understand how to accomplish that. So
yeah, I'm gonna echo Mr. Lowe, Amy, or who said it? I can't remember who said it.
No,
Someone said it. Amy is amazing. Like
Yes.
she's amazing, and so you can't ask for a better person to lead this. And the excitement that my daughter felt when she was there and wanted to get into leadership roles let me know that she was in a good place. So
okay,
that's it.
with that, we will pass it on to whoever wants to go next.
Thanks. Appreciate it, everyone. Hey, you know, we come from a little bit different perspective. You know, we James is our third son, and James was diagnosed with developmental disability when he was younger, all the way back when he was 1-2 years old. And you know, we worked with James obviously throughout his life, and you know, originally they had told us that, you know, he probably wouldn't have more of a you know, third or fourth grade mental capacity throughout his life. So when, you know, he got into high school and things were going okay long term, and then we started looking at college, finding a college that we thought that we could, you know, leave him and walk away from and still feel very comfortable was important to us. And we went on Gonzaga and we never looked back. And James has never looked back. And for someone like James to be able to feel as comfortable as he had through the program and want to continue on tells you, I think, really everything you need to know about how Gonzaga and the people in Gonzaga will take care of your sons and daughters. That's all I gotta say. Anything for you?
Well, I can talk about, you know, they say you're not supposed to call your child. Well, we dropped him off and I was okay. And we came home, we flew home and I was okay. And went to bed that night. I was okay. 6 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I started texting because I hadn't heard from him since the night before. And I texted and texted and he did not respond. So I came downstairs hysterical and I said to John, he's been there 24 hours and he's already dead. And he obviously was not. He was fine. He was busy. But that's, you know, it's just the normal feeling that you're going to have, that it's really tough at the beginning, but it's tougher on you than it is on them. So it'll work out.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
It does work out very well. And so, you know, take a deep breath and just let it happen. Hey, PR, Javier, you guys have a story you'd like to share?
Sure. I'm gonna go first. I always go first. I have to speak. So yeah, the one thing that is interesting is about having a plan for communication. So when you let your son or daughter or at university, at college, you have to know that you're not going to be talking on a daily basis. There's no airtime, so you have to prepare very well when are you going to talk with your beloved ones. And of course, we started with a very good plan, like every day for 1 hour, we would like to speak with you. It doesn't work. So every other day for 30 minutes, it's going to work out. No, it doesn't work out that way. So at the end of the day, I think we're going to speak with our daughter on a 5 to 10 minutes basis every week, like on a Sunday, whenever she is walking from one place to another, not necessarily paying attention to us, which is not the best thing. So we did have this feel that we did want to know a little bit more of our daughter's life at college, especially in the first year. So I noticed that our other daughter, Sophia, who's not, by the way, going to another Jesuit institution this fall, or not, we don't know, Seattle University. She was following her on Instagram, and she could see where she was and what he was doing and so on and so forth. So Pilar and I decided to take on an account on Instagram and start following our daughter.
I really think it was you. It wasn't me.
Okay, it was me.
Yeah.
So my main mistake, and please don't do it again, is use a username like "Dad is watching you." It was the worst account name that I could have chosen. And my daughter didn't follow me. She went private. And anyway, I don't have any followers on Instagram to report today. But it's good to have the ability of contacting with her or him anytime you feel like. And it's a two-way relationship. So don't let the 5 minute or the 10 minute or whatever allocation you may get be the only one that you need. If you need more, ask for more, and find a balance with your student, because they will have a lot of things to do at the school.
I don't have a very funny story to share, but more of a personal experience. And this is something that, I've always experienced, that you sort of educate, you accompany your children, and there is a point where they start teaching you. And this is another experience for me, when they teach you to let them go, to let them grow, and they prove that. And it's been that the case for me. We've gone through many transitions in life, being an international family, living in many different countries. It feels like we've been transitioning multiple times. So sort of used to changes. And I was super proud of myself. I'm a kind of a crying person, but I didn't cry when we said goodbye to her at Gonzaga a couple of years ago. I didn't cry afterwards when coming back home, didn't cry at home. I was absolutely fine and happy that she was there. But Parents Weekend came, and that got me. And I didn't expect it to get me in that way. Not because she was having a hard time, not because just because it was happening. And I remember getting on the plane, seeing on the way back to Denver, seeing Alice and Hank, and I couldn't even say hi to them because I was so much in tears. And Alice was like, "Don't worry, Thanksgiving will be here before you know." I didn't even know if she was coming home for Thanksgiving because she didn't plan for that. My point is that I think, be ready for whatever, and it's on us. I think at the end of the day, they're gonna be absolutely okay. We need to grow with them in that. And we need to make sure we are also okay.
That's it.
Okay, so we don't really have a story necessarily at all. I did, however, I'm the opposite of Pilar. I cried for days, but that's
the whole drive back.
I did, but that's neither here nor there. So anyhow, if there's anything that we would impart, we always go back to, there was a family. We got a lot of great advice when we were in your shoes for the first time with our oldest daughter, Gabby. And we got a lot of great advice from the Parent and Family Council, just like listening to the stories. But the best advice that we heard that we kind of keep repeating is from another family that isn't on anymore. And it's where they were really, they made the tactical decision to, like, if their daughter called, if she called and left like a message or text saying, "Hey, I don't know how to do this," or she like had a question, nobody swooped in to help save them. Like her parents allowed her to kind of sit in the problem for a while, maybe like half a day, depending on how serious the problem. It's not like a life-threatening problem. We want to clarify that. But then ask, "Hey, how did that go?" And more often than not, that their child solved the problem themselves. And so we've applied that with our daughter, and we feel like that has worked really well. We're just kind of like, if she calls and says, I didn't get that class and I don't know what to do, we just kind of let that sit, and not like, "Oh, we'll go talk to the professor or go find the department head," or anything like that. Just don't offer any suggestion. And then sure enough, she always manages to figure out how to fix it herself. Once again, I would qualify, it's not like she did like cut her hand really bad, opening a can of beans, and like I did swoop in and say, "Go get stitches." So if it's like a health thing, then yes, definitely you want to swoop in fast maybe. But if it's just kind of like navigating the world, that was really good advice for us.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of what we kind of impart on other people, whoever asked our opinion about it, is just kind of allow your child the space to make their own solutions. So anyhow.
Tina and I both went to really big state universities, and I was just kind of set adrift on campus. And the beautiful thing about Gonzaga is it is almost a nice little warm hug, and that when you do coach them to advocate for themselves and figure these things out, like, I don't like my professor, or I don't understand them, or to advocate to go talk to them one-on-one, to get help at parent and family, or to go to the mental health place, or to go to the doctor, or you don't like the food at the COG, figure something out. And those things all are welcome response. They got welcome responses from Gonzaga and a lot of help. Now, the other part of this is we're not experts in any of this. And we made a lot of mistakes, and we have a second daughter coming into Gonzaga right with you, and that kid's a smoking gun. So I don't know what we're going to do, how it's going to respond, but we just have to be ready to adapt and
pivot
and roll with the punches, especially with everything we're dealing with. And we were all in a great big seminar doing this kind of meeting with you guys, or we would be. And it's a little better because we can hear you laughing and stuff like that. But I appreciate everybody's time and attention, and I look forward to your questions.
Do the Moonies have a story to tell, or should we move on?
No stories.
Okay. We're going to go through real quick. We only have about 20 minutes left, so we want to make sure we answer your questions. Just some quick hit pieces of advice. So another family that's not on, their student graduated as well, and they're no longer part of the council. I'll never forget her suggestion, which was a great one. So again, we do want to stay in touch with our kids. We're going to miss them. And her advice was, instead of just texting them randomly, ask your student to text their schedule to you. So then you know when they're in class. So you're not texting them or calling them when they're in class. And I thought that was brilliant. So both of our kids, when we got that advice, texted their schedules to us, and we followed that process going forward.
Well, I'm going to pull in some academics into this, because your student is going to do fine integrating into their new lifestyle. They're going to develop awesome relationships, but they're also there to learn. And one thing I want to say is you've done an amazing job helping your student get to Gonzaga. It's a top-notch university, and they're going to get a really well-rounded education. They're going to know how to take care of themselves and take care of the whole person of others, individuals in their lives. But come around 6 weeks, they're going to hit something called midterms, which they had in high school, but it might be a little bit different. So make sure that you check in. My advice is check in with them maybe about a month into it, and actually have the conversation about how are your classes going, and how are you feeling about your upcoming exams. You're not going to have access to a parent portal anymore, and that's going to feel kind of weird, because you're going to have to step back and not be in control of what their schedule is like and how they're doing with their grades. But if you just ask them, how are they doing and how are they feeling about their upcoming exams, I think that's a really good way to start a conversation. You'll know if they're struggling a little bit, or you'll know if they're doing well.
Hey, Hank. I have another thing to say quickly. There is one thing at Gonzaga which is called the Bulldogs bags. Do you know what it is? So those are the dollars that they can cash for some things. So there's never enough Bulldog bags for a freshman. So just bear that in mind. They will always ask for more, no matter how much to give them. So have a talk before they leave.
And I'll actually answer the first question, by the way, for the folks that weren't on at the beginning of the call. I'm Amy Swank, and I'm the Director of Parent Family Relations. I oversee this great group, and thanks for the love from some of you calling me a guardian angel. I don't know, that's some big shoes to fill, but for all the other new families, apparently not only am I the director, but I'm the guardian angel. So we'll just keep that going. This will be our little secret for all 100 of you on this call right now. But as far as parent family orientation is concerned, so it's not canceled. we have it in 3 parts as of today. Who knows, as things change by the minute, it feels like what it will look like. But we have everything that you would have experienced at parent family orientation. We have what we are calling on-demand orientation that will begin on August 3rd. And we are going to have some live stuff that's sprinkled in between that. But for what's really cool is you're going to get to access all the sessions that would happen at orientation in person, where you'd have to kind of pick and choose. Then we're going to have a live weekend, the 21st through the 23rd of August. We're going to have an opening ceremonies with the president, and it will be recorded, and you can do it virtually, but it will be live. And there'll be some sessions that we feel are the best sessions that need to be presented to you in a live experience. And then hopefully everything works out, because this is the plan as of today. You'll come and join us on campus for move-in day for your student. And we have a toolkit, a really, really cool toolkit that has all kinds of goodies in it that's going to help you be successful collegiate Gonzaga families. And the name badges this year are amazing and sustainable, because then they turn into luggage tags. So some really cool stuff. We've got lots of surprises. There's gonna be a fun photo booth in person, hospitality tent. We are rolling out the stops. My team is 2 people, 2 pro staff, and we have 5 students. And I think that we have put in like 10, 12-hour days. So parents that are on this call, I promise you, we're gonna give you the best possible experience. It'll be different, and it won't be what we have typically done, but I think it's going to be super special. So to answer your question, not canceled, it's going to be cool.
I see another question here from Thomas in Texas about the Christian aspect or Catholic aspect of the university. And I can tell you that James is joined as part of the ministry. They've got mass inside the hall every Sunday night for student mass. He serves communion, Eucharistic ministry. He also plays music, sings. The number of masses you can attend or faith-based interactions you can be part of as a student is probably far more than any school that I had seen when we were looking at schools. And our other sons, one went to Loyola, I went to University of San Diego, and some of the other ones we had looked at is, Thane tries to really integrate the Christian faith in what the school actually does, and the priests there and all the community are very, very, very much embrace that.
I see Diet has a question about kind of the opposite question that Thomas had, and yeah, I don't think that it feels. I think more than half of the students, and correct me if I'm wrong, Amy, did not come from Catholic background, so there's not any pressure on anyone to go to church. There's not a religious overflow of information. One thing that was interesting there is a priest and that lives in many of the residences, and interesting enough, both of my kids became very close with those priests. I mean, they invited the students to have pizza and just to be a person that they could come talk to and seek advice from. And so I don't know about the rest of the group, but I didn't feel that it didn't feel like a Catholic university to me, honestly, in some ways. It just felt like a warm, challenging school and a great environment.
Hank, let me piggyback on that for you good folks. Our daughter Sydney, I'd like to think our family as being sort of the inclusionary test bed for Gonzaga, basically, because when Sydney came in, we were from Moraga, California. We're in the shadow of St. Mary's, Gonzaga's biggest rival, but we came to school at Gonzaga, basically. And we're good God-fearing Presbyterians, but we worked out quite well, because Sydney, she's very faith-based, but obviously she was able to pursue her spirituality through a church in the community. Spokane's a great town with a lot of diversity, and she was able to find a church there, and she functioned quite well for not being, going through the typical parochial Catholic school situation. So, but Gonzaga, inclusive and takes all, basically.
I see a nice question from Marcy Sontag, and she's asking about how well, we were really lucky to have this venue and be part of this board to meet everybody.
How you meet people.
Right, how you meet other parents. The question is how you develop relationships with other parents. And I think it's going to be tough. Even inside of my daughter's like 10 friend cohort, we've met a couple parents, and one of them are in the same parish here in Portland, and they've been family friends. So other than that, that's other than family friends that we already have and this group, it's your kids' college, and I think that would be hard, or you'd have just to look for connections and meet them through your kids' friends. I think that would be the best way to do it on that question.
Do you want to talk about taking them to dinner?
Oh, and then one of the things I'm fortunate that I have business in Spokane, and I'm able to pop in and pop out in a kind of a helicopter kind of way, but more it's me being the food bandwagon. And I have an opportunity to take my daughter out for dinner, and we brought the roommates, or you could bring 3 or 4
Jack
kids.
now rents the largest car he can because we basically invite everybody to come. And we have felt that that's been a good bridge to kind of get to know other people, is at least to get to know their friends, and just like whoever wants to come out to dinner, let's do some dinner, or we'll have dinner now she has a house, so we can have dinner. We do dinner at her house, stuff like that.
It's really hard to get tickets to the basketball game. So other than that, go to other women's basketball, go see volleyball, go to a baseball game. Those were fun things for me to do on campus too.
If I can tag on to the dinners, for those of you that have students that are coming from other states outside of Washington that might not be able to come home for Thanksgiving, or most of them come home for Christmas, but that they have a couple days off in the fall, a little fall weekend. Our daughter and our son, since we live in Colorado, didn't come home for those, but their roommates were from local areas, Seattle, and they would do a road trip. So families were very kind and taking our kids in for different times when there were times off. So if you're worried about that, I'm sure your kids will be planning what they're going to do when they get a little break, because they do like to leave campus once in a while.
Amy, do you want to answer Laurie's question if you're with us?
I will, and we actually just responded to it. So the live orientation is going to be virtual live. So the 21st through the 23rd will be interactive sessions similar to what you're experiencing now. And then on your move-in day, and it looks like, Lori, your move-in day for your student is the 28th. So you will come to check in, we'll get your toolkit. There'll be different points of intersection out on the Foley lawn where we'll have that hospitality tent and the photo backdrop, so you can do your family photo, etc. But it really is designed just for that day. We're also going to play a little trivia game. You folks that are on this call are getting a little insider scoop. So there's going to be some things that you can hopefully, again, to the question that was just asked too, can make some connections points with just those folks that are here during your move-in time and your move-in day. It'll be brief, but we're hoping that you still will feel that connection and you'll be able to make some of those connections. I will tell you, as things evolve and hopefully things improve, our plan is to have a lot of engagement, both virtual and in person, as things start to, I hate to use this phrase, return to normal. We will make sure that you get those connecting points either in your hometowns or back on campus. I have a million ideas of how we might be able to achieve that. So hang on, it's going to be fun.
Do we have any other tidbits of advice? I do have a story. I'm going to try to make it quick, kind of in the end. Since there won't be a mass, one thing we always recommend, whether you're Catholic, Presbyterian, Jewish, whatever, is to go to the mass at orientation. So I do want to talk about that quickly in the end. But any other pieces of advice you guys can think of?
Yeah, I got one real quick, Hank. parents, you're going to get a bunch of emails talking about different things. You're going to get emails for care packages coming your way and stuff like that. These are all really, really good tools to, kind of help comfort your student as they're going through their year and meeting milestones in their school year and stuff. And you don't have to necessarily get the ones that they email you about, but I do know from what my daughter told us that those actually really meant a lot to her. It would just come at the right time. So whether you put something together, mail it to them, pull something off of Amazon, or use the resources that they email you about, they're really good at allowing you the opportunity to kind of just be there and support them. One great experience that we had this year was my daughter was going to come home for Valentine's Day, and it snowed, I think, and there was ice on the roads, and she couldn't come home. And for me and my daughter, that's a big deal, for her to not be home for Valentine's Day. So one of the things that was an option is I was able to actually, and of course, according to your own ability, but I was able to actually send her and her roommates to the Bulldog restaurant for a really nice surf and turf meal. And I got some of the best pictures, and that was one of the best experiences, just getting the phone calls. I mean, she didn't just call me, her friends called me, her roommates called me, it was a huge hit, and I had no idea that it would mean so much to them. But look for those opportunities that the school sends your way, because they may not seem like a big deal to us, but to them, it's kind of everything. So anyway.
I'm going to answer a few of the questions here too. Sherry, you asked about Gel Weekend was canceled, and so some folks you have a very short amount of time to be able to experience. Sherry, our plan is to be able to give you the top 10 things to do on and off campus when you're here for your move-in day. And so we're going to provide you a guide, and then that's where the trivia is going to come in, and we're going to have some of our student volunteers at those places. So again, that's the plan as of today, but we do understand that some folks are sight unseen, and so we want to try to give you the best possible opportunity to engage with both our campus community and our Spokane community. So hang with us, and hopefully we've done a good job of showing you some of our top 10 places that we love. And then Kim, you talked about transfer orientation. Our transfer day where you'll come in and grab your toolkit and your items is that Friday of transfer orientation. So if your student isn't living on campus, your day is Friday to check in, and we're gonna send you an email right now with some extra information for you. So that's coming. And now I'll stop talking because I don't like talking.
I'd like to tag on to Alice's, thought a little bit about, the scholastic, environment on campus. For one thing to remember is if your student is struggling at all in class and needs a little bit of help, the amount of office time that the professors have is incredible. And I know that when James freshman year had an issue with one of the classes, he ended up going and chatting with that professor and then set up just times to go and visit with them throughout the semester, and it really was a great help. So the help from the university is really great with the office hours. So keep that in mind if your son or daughter has any issues. The office time is fantastic to really help them through.
Okay, we're getting. Go ahead, Doug. Sorry.
Yeah, if any of the parents are just wondering about kind of other interests the kids might have, I tell you, our son, he fishes all the time right there on campus. There's that nice big old river that goes right through the campus. He catches fish all the time there. So if you have sons that fish, bring their gear. He made the transition from surfing to snowboarding. And he made a ton of friends at school by getting into snowboarding. And they've got a ski shop there at school where they can check out gear. They go into Coeur d'Alene area and go hiking and camping and fishing and all that. So if any of your kids are into those kind of deals, bring their gear. It's going to be a fun, really fun college to go to.
I think at this point, we'll turn it over to Amy. Again, we want to welcome all of you. On the Gonzaga website, you can look us up. And so if you want to reach out to the parents that are assigned to your area of the country, please reach out to us with any questions you have. We're here to help you. We know you'll have a great first year, and we wish you all the luck. And again, welcome to the family, and go Zags.
Go Zags.
Go Zags.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I love the parent council so much. Y'all, thank you. I can't thank our council. They're completely volunteer. They join us twice a year on campus for meetings. We try to email and call each other and connect with one another. We haven't done a very good job lately because things have been a little wonky, but I'm forever grateful that this group of folks has been your voices to the university administration. And so if this is an area where you see yourself or you'd like to volunteer, we have 6 openings, regional openings that we are looking into. We have a lot of senior families on our council. Many of them joined us today. And so just know that there is an application on that page that Hank referenced. You can reach out to these folks. We're not going to dismiss anyone from the council yet. So Hank and Alice, you're with us for a little longer. Hang with me, even though you're not paying tuition anymore. We're still going to ask you for some advice. So again, just forever grateful for our council. For our new families, we couldn't be more excited. I know that this is strange how we are seeing you, and I'm grateful that Javier said, turn on your screen so I can see your faces and see you laughing and experiencing this with us. So I just want to welcome you to our community, and we're going to figure it out together, whatever that might be. And it's probably going to change by the minute because that's just our world that we live in, but we care deeply. We know the success of our students. As Hank mentioned earlier, they graduate on time and they're academically more successful when you're all involved. This office, this council was created specifically to support our families so they can support their student. So hang with us and we'll make sure you have all the tools so that you can support your students and they can be very successful and graduate on time like Hank's did, and then he doesn't have to pay tuition anymore. So we'll get you there. If you have questions or need anything, you can reach us at families@gonzaga.edu. We're super excited you're Zags. It's a special community. I've been here for 13 years and I hope that I never, ever have to leave. So welcome to the Zag fam. Let us know if you need anything. We're here for you. Thanks, council. Thank you all. Have a good night, everybody.